There is still no clarity among motorists who have been struggling to obtain dates for driving licence renewals in Gauteng. This as an August 31st deadline is fast approaching following an earlier decision that due to COVID-19 constraints, the validity of all learners' licence renewals and temporary driving licences that expired between the 26th of March 2020 and the 31st of December 2020 would be extended to the end of this month. Motorists have been battling for months to secure online appointments due to the unavailability of dates on the NATIS system. Gauteng MEC for Public Transport and Roads Infrastructure, Jacob Mamabolo, joins us now to hopefully provide some clarity on this issue. MEC, good to have you. Thanks so much for your time.
Good morning to you. To all the viewers, let me thank you very much for the opportunity you have given me.
Yeah, importantly, a big discussion and a very important one. So last year, the department promised to dedicate 70% of the capacity of the centres to address current backlogs. But it seems that the problem is getting bigger, to be honest. What is going on?
Well, firstly, let me just make a contextual point that, COVID-19 has thrown unprecedented difficulties and complexities, on our doorstep. And we can see clearly in transport in general that there are many difficulties, not only in driver licenses, potholes, and others. We have... We do have information that points out to the fact that since we made an announcement in November 2020 and which kicked in January 2021, we are very much pleased that from January this year to end of July, we have processed 500,000 driver license applications in 6 months, and the 6 months preceding that, we had only done about 280,000. That was before we introduced the measures. So it tells you that, and this is the data, these are facts, that we have doubled up our performance since the measures were introduced in that 500,000, driver license were processed. Secondly, in the announcement of measures we introduced, we said we're going to introduce an SMS system in which we give people slots up front because we believe people shouldn't be battling for slots. We have also in April to support the SMS messages, providing people slots up front, worked with the radios and newspapers to say to people, when we send you these SMSs, it's not fake news. Please do take up your slots. But just from January to today, we're sitting with about 130,000 slots that we have issued, supported by the Road Traffic Management Corporation, which is the custodian of the e-NATIS. And obviously that with every day moving closer towards the 31st of August, the problem, it's quite big, but the problem is much more pronounced and felt in our province because we have a huge vehicle population.
All right. Okay. So let's dig deeper. So, as always, COVID is blamed for this, which we can do the same. We can also blame. But when we get pulled over and we haven't been able to get an appointment, nobody's going to listen to us. But we have to listen to you where we cannot get an appointment. Point number one. There is a 500,000 rand, 500,000 person backlog. That's the number. You are saying that you have processed 500,000, which is great, but from reading the numbers, which you yourself are quoting and saying that we're talking numbers, so let's talk numbers. There's a backlog of 500,000 licenses that still need to be processed. That's excluding all of the people that are unable to get appointments. And the date now, 24th of August, how is this going to happen?
Well, as I said, and let me just clarify, Leanne, that the challenges we have with the driver license process predates the outbreak of COVID-19. COVID-19 has only magnified and multiplied the problem, so we do accept. In the remaining days, the few days prior to the 31st, we in this province have, issued measures such as working extra hours. We work Saturday and Sunday. But we do understand that there will be, as I've already said, 130,000 people have not taken up their slots. So it means there is a huge number of people out there, including those that we have not issued SMSs to. So what we believe is that obviously there will still be people after the 31st. There's no doubt about that.
So can I get
that may have not renewed their licenses.
So what's going to happen? What will happen? Let's get clarity from you. Will we get a fine? The people that have tried everything they can to get an appointment, come the 31st of August, if we fall out of that leniency time and that extension, are you going to extend it a little bit longer or not? That's all we want to hear.
Yes, that's the point I was going to. Remember, whether there's going to be a extension or grace period or whatever that can be put in place, that the Minister of Transport will talk to the nation about it, including the situation in Gauteng as a province. So and I think I hope you'll understand that we as a province shouldn't traverse that space because it is the prerogative of the minister, and we wouldn't want to preempt or be seen to be flying before that. So once minister makes an announcement, and I wouldn't want to speculate on what minister is going to say, we will then know, all of us, what then are the consequential implications of that to the motorists. But if I try to get in that, I'll be violating a fundamental principle of our country's constitution of cooperative governance.
Yeah.
So let us allow minister, we as a province, I'm committing to you, once minister outlines what is going to happen to those who in the remaining days will not be able to renew their driver licenses, we as a province, we will then say to the residents of Gauteng and to the license card holders, this is how we are going to respond and help and support those people that would have not been covered by the deadline, but it must be dovetailed and aligned to what the minister is going to announce, and we will make an announcement once minister has made an announcement.
So you haven't spoken to him at all? He is obviously aware of these issues. I mean, and I mean, when you hear some of the issues, and I mean, I'm sure when I read some of these worries that people are going through right now, they've been trying, some since July, some since June, to try and get an appointment because you're given just a select amount of time. You can only book between 12 and 4 for whatever that you need to do. Then you can't find slots in your area. You can't find times. Then you are forced to go through a third party. Some people saying that you're charged up to 5,000 Rand through a third party who can get an appointment. They can get an appointment for you, but me sitting here on the computer, I cannot get an appointment. There is a lot of corruption happening here, MEC. So this is a very flawed system. So let's just say the minister says, OK, guys, we're going to give you more of a leeway and the time will be extended. It doesn't get to the bottom of the problem. The problem is this whole system needs to be overhauled.
I'm on record having considered that point. And let me just, before I come to some of the issues you have raised, but very quickly. Even prior to COVID-19, we understand this function is spread between national, the Road Traffic Management Agency. I mean, Corporation is the custodian of the e-NATI system. The machines and equipment for eye testing, for fingerprint, is sitting at national. In the 40 DLTCs we run in the province, we as a province, we only have 6 that we run. 34 is with municipalities. So the fragmentation across the system, you're absolutely right. We need a complete overhaul with that. in Gauteng, I've already said, we have a huge population that explodes at a very high rate on a daily basis, 40 DLTCs, with only 6 sitting with the province. It's not enough to create sufficient basis upon which to issue more slots. The machines that we have, I have seen them. I visit DLTCs. Most of the time, in Amanskraal, they're supposed to be working with 8 machines. They're only working with 2. In Kagiso, where I was last week, Friday, they have 6. They're only working with 1 or 2. So the problem is spread over province, national, municipalities, but even with the license card holders. That is why we believe as a province that we need a cooperation of all of us. We need to work together. If people are given slots, they need to take them up. We as government must do our part, and we can only win this if we work in a cooperative way amongst all of us. Lastly is that for those people who may not have booked a slot here in Gauteng, I can tell you we have been working on a solution. For example, I've told you about the SMS system. We are going to rework it in line with what Minister would say. So people shouldn't panic. We will support them. We will work with them. And we will make sure that, law-abiding citizens are not put in a difficulty violating the law because of an inefficient system. And COVID-19.
It's one thing.
So we will work with the people who will support them, but let's allow Minister to make an announcement and not preempt and speculate on what Minister is going to say.
It is one thing to say law-abiding citizens will be protected, but come the 31st of August, we will not be law-abiding citizens, and then we enter into dangerous territory. We're 7 days before that. Surely you need to give, or the Minister of Transport at least needs to take South Africans into his confidence and say, we understand there is a problem, we are fixing it, don't panic, because now we are panicking. We are, because this is now, we're at a point where, Minister, MEC, where you can get an appointment. I'll take Gauteng, for instance. You try and get a booking, and then miraculously a booking does come up. But now I, who live here, have to travel to Mabopane, or I got to go to Thunderbale Park for the only available appointments that are there. That's number one. Then number two, I do get an appointment, and I arrive at the licensing department only to find out that the eye testing machine is broken. And I can't have my license renewed because the one machine that's there is broken. But you will not accept the test from anywhere else. I don't know why you don't allow that to happen. There are actually very easy ways around it. And things that you've said, why can't we all work together? We ask you the same question. Why can't you work together with banks, with organizations that are recruited by you and that have been endorsed by government that make this easier? You make us jump through hoops that are almost impossible.
So let me say to you and to the viewers that the booking system does have challenges. We have not denied that. The Road Traffic Management Corporation could, say how they are going to deal with this issue. But as I said to you, in this province where the problem is more pronounced, more visible, once Minister make an announcement, we will provide support to make sure that those people that could not be assisted are assisted, and I shouldn't say what form because at this point we don't know what announcement will be made. Secondly, I have already, considered the fragmentation in the system, both in the front and at the back. Thirdly, we're working with a limited number of DLTCs. And in all this, Leanne, the best way forward is exactly the point we agree upon. A better coordination, integration by national, by province, by municipalities, by license card holders, and by different key players, by driving schools are a critical player in this because they bring the clients to the center. So we have considered that even without COVID-19, the process has not been efficient and optimized. And we have considered that point because the best way to solve a problem is to start by accepting it and not denying it. But I'm quite confident that the residents of Gauteng, whilst we understand that the panic pile up every day, for as long as there's not yet an announcement as we get closer, but for them, we will announce a special set of support measures to say how are we going to work with you? Based on whatever announcement that will be made, we will be able to support. And we must say to the people, we have just appointed a forensic company. It is a month on the job. We're working on a 6-month target. They are investigating for the first time, the allegations of corruption in the DLTCs. And we are urging the people not to take shortcuts or break the law. We will provide support to them. Let us all wait for this very important announcement to be made. We work together with no one taking measures that will get them into difficulty. We have dispatched a very competent, capable team of forensic investigators, and we don't want any person to be caught in that. Please allow us to address the province once we know what direction the country is taking. This is a complex problem. We understand, we have accepted, but we will support them.
You know, it's one thing to say that, MEC, and one would have hoped that, you know, we could have come onto national television with that in mind already, because basically all we've gotten from you this morning, and I understand because there are levels that you also are affected by in terms of reporting, and your hands are tied. You need to hear from the Minister, but one would have hoped that we would have already heard from the Minister and we would be proactive in getting a bit more information, because South Africans, unfortunately, are as clueless going into this interview as they are going out. Because here's another problem, and I'm not sure, MEC, if you've thought about this. It's not only about being pulled over by a traffic official who doesn't want to listen to what I have to say about not getting an appointment on the NATIS system, and this went down and the eye test wasn't working and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that. What about my insurance company? If I'm driving around with an expired license, something happens, that's me gone. What then?
So I think the second point that I've also said was that once that announcement is made, we will also come back to the residents of the province to say these are the specific type of support that we are going to provide. Okay. But I should agree with you that it's a matter that, remember, we must respect the principles and the values of our country's constitution. We are a province. We must work within a national guideline and framework. But for those people, insurance, law enforcement, the consequential difficulties that might be there, we are assuring the people we will come back to say these are the set of measures to provide support so that people don't find themselves in a difficulty with law enforcement, with insurance, and many other difficulties that might be there. Yeah. But I think we mustn't navigate into the space where we could preempt a very important announcement. Minister has to look at the national picture, has to look at the data across the country, including the province, and will guide as he has always done. And I think we should be able to understand that, once that announcement is made, then we will all be able to say, this is the direction we are taking. And I'm appealing to everybody not to panic, not to go the wrong way of working with criminal syndicates, corrupt elements. Let us all unite. Let's close ranks, not tax ranks, and be able to move with one step once the announcement has been made. And I'm quite confident that we will be able to resolve this matter and resolve it in the best interest of the law and for the residents of the country and the province. All right,
MEC, I got to leave it there, unfortunately. We're waiting. That announcement, that imminent announcement, we're waiting for it. Gauteng MEC of Public Transport and Roads Infrastructure, Jacob Mamabolo, thanks for talking to us, talking about the challenges faced by Gauteng motorists and you, wherever you are in the country, on that NATIS booking system. Mine is, how's yours? You done?
No, mine is...
You're okay still?
Just expired.
Mine's finished. I cannot get an appointment. I can't get an appointment.
We've had a running process with a group of people trying to get slots. It's not
working. Do it. All right. It's not working. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Thanks for watching. Another hour on SABC News. See you then. Bye-bye.
Yeah.